Welcome to Tigers Business Group. We are a group of business professionals in Mercer County, New Jersey, and we are here starting our first new podcast, video podcast, to discuss business, not only around Mercer County and New Jersey, but across the United States. We're going to touch on all different types of topics. And today we're going to start with introductions and then move into some topics like security and just general knowledge that's needed to start us out. So I will start out. My name is Janice Mahlmann. I'm the founder and CEO of eTech. We're an IT services company, or MSP, and also a MSSP, which is a managed security provider. We are your outsourced IT department and your outsourced cybersecurity department.
I'm with Northfield Bank. I've been in banking for well over 30 years in all different aspects of the finance industry. And Northfield Bank is a community bank servicing the New Jersey and New York communities.
I'm Matt Wizeman. I'm with Focal Point Business Leadership Coaching. I'm a certified exit advisor and business leadership coach. I help owners work through their business plan for a successful exit, as well as their personal plan and their personal financial plan. And we tie those three things together to lead to a successful transition to what comes next.
Great. And I'm John. I run My Solar Home. I'm a solar installation company. I work in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I also help folks go solar nationwide through a network of partners. And it's great to be here at this first meeting of clients. Thank you.
And I'm Andrew DeNardo with Alen Security. We're a full-service security integration company serving customers here in central New Jersey, the entire state of New Jersey, and across the country as well, with video surveillance, access control, fire alarm, security alarm systems, and fully integrating those systems as well.
All right. So how do we start our discussion?
Well, so I have a question. I know that when we discussed things, we pulled this particular group together because we're all considered experts in our field. So out of curiosity, what's one piece of advice that you give all the time, or what's the most common question you're asked?
I can start out. For me, it's very easy. The most common question I get asked is, should I go solar? So it's a pretty simple question. And most folks, when they ask me that question, they say it should be a yes or a no answer. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. When I talk to them, I tell them that they have to look at things like, what kind of a utility company are they on? What kind of a billing plan do they have? The kind of home that they're living in. Also, their financial goal is a technology product. So once we get to know those details, it becomes fairly easy. And the truth to tell, I have had many circumstances where I have actually told customers that solar may not be the right decision for them. It's important to be a trusted advisor for your customers.
Yeah, I have a lot to do with either security, how am I keeping things secure, and there's AI now. So, and both combine into one nowadays. So I think the biggest thing on the security side when people ask questions is, how do I know my data is secure? So much is in the cloud now. And how do you make sure your data is secure in the cloud? So I usually ask if they have an IT professional working with them to set things up in the cloud. A lot of times businesses don't, and they think, I put it in the cloud, it's instantly secure by the company, by Microsoft or Google, and it's not. Yeah, there are multitudes of modules and security things you have to set up in order to make sure your data is secure. And they each of the programs have different levels of licenses that you purchase that include different levels of security. So that's usually like the first question that I get asked is security and AI.
And I think where you're concerned, there's so much that's changing so quickly all the time.
Yeah.
I'm learning something new.
Yeah, we deal with customers all the time, and they want to, now they're asking us about cloud,
Right.
whether it's a cloud access system or cloud video system. And the ones that are knowledgeable are asking, okay, well, where is this video? Where's the cloud?
Right.
Is it AWS? Is it Google? Is it their own? Are they SOC compliant? What are the different, so we have white papers, things that we share based on the companies that we're using and where the security lies. So, I mean, that's a big thing.
Right.
And those are the ones that are knowledgeable. Some people don't even know to ask that.
Yeah.
right?
And
To try to help them.
do they ask if if the system goes down, like what kind of backups you have and stuff like that? Like what kind of redundancy does the cloud have it?
Yeah, of course, yeah, and
Yeah.
most of the companies we deal with, they have it. These recordings are in multiple places, so if one goes down, they have it.
So
It's redundant elsewhere. So the customer is paying for that storage.
Right.
They're paying for that video, that space. They know that they have a recording.
Yeah.
Somewhere. If
Yeah.
it goes down, they have access to it, and they just lose it, right, for
Yeah.
the money that they're paying for. So I mean, but a lot of times we deal with customers that don't really know,
Right.
and probably the biggest question I'm asked all the time is, what do I need?
Yeah.
So
I can imagine.
yeah, so what we're doing is we work with them to, consult with them on what they're looking for, what are their pain points, what do they need to do. It's like we don't necessarily have oh, here's this package we sell all the time to everyone. It's like
Right,
it's
yeah,
not cookie
yeah.
cutter.
Yeah.
For us, it's like, what is it that is, what is your pain point? What keeps you up at night?
Yeah.
What are you trying to solve for? And then we work to consult with them and put together something that works for them.
Yeah, I think pain points are important. I think
Yeah.
that, that's probably one of the first, people are asking that first question and it has to do with the pain point.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely in the coaching space. That's typically when an owner is looking for a coach is when things are
Painful.
yeah, something's not working.
Something happened, yeah.
Right, but with regard to security, whether it be an exit, a client, preparing for an exit, or if it's a coaching engagement, they're trying to grow the business or deal with a certain challenge. It's ultimately we're working to secure their future, right?
Mhm.
That's what we're bringing in terms of security is leading to a success, trying to work with them to lead to a successful exit. So their next act is financially provided for, and I think what I'm often not being asked, but bringing to a client's attention is the importance of their personal plan when it comes to their transition, not realizing just how much that plays a role in the exit of a business. They're thinking primarily about the business and getting the business ready and succession and the financial aspect of that as well. They don't realize that if they don't really have a solid plan for what they're going to do next, they can be their own worst enemy. They can literally walk away from an exit opportunity because they panic and they go, oh my gosh, if I don't have this business anymore, I don't know what I'm going to do with my time. And they'll literally just say, well, I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to keep running it. And before they know it, they've been at it too long. So that's one thing that I always have to bring to clients' attention is, hey, you really need to know what comes next for you and have that planned out in detail.
Yes.
That's really interesting, right? I even never thought about that. I mean, when you think about exiting or selling your business,
Yeah.
that the personal aspect of it and what's going to happen to you after that,
Yes.
it's interesting that that's a really important part of the equation, I guess.
Yeah.
Similarly, how that affects what I do and the piece of advice that I think that I give the most is that security. A lot of customers will come to me or people will come to me when they're in a jam and say, I lost my job, now I need a line of credit because I have equity in my home. Well, you just
Yeah.
lost the
They got to cover
income
the bills and
able to pay it back, or a business owner saying, we're not making as much money, cost of goods is going up, now I need a line of credit. And it's going to be much more difficult in those times to achieve that. And so my most common piece of advice is the best time to get credit is when you don't need it. So when things are looking good, when they're flowing well, establishing that line of credit. Most banks, most financial institutions don't charge an annual fee. Some charge a nominal annual fee.
Right.
Regardless, that security that provides of having that there should you have a shortfall or should there be an emergency and you have that you can fall back
Do
on.
a lot of people think about that as an option, or is that something that you have to present to people? Like, do they just come in and say, I lost my job, I don't know what to do, I need funds? Or are people educated about it and be like, hey, I know I have this, fund, monies and resources that I can allocate. How do I do that? So what is it usually?
Yeah, so most of the time people don't know about it.
They don't even think about
And
it.
they
Yeah.
don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And their question is, how do I take my money out of my 401k?
Right.
How do I close out my IRA?
Yeah.
How do I close out this CD?
Yeah.
So they're looking for money in other places where it could be very costly to take
Yeah.
that money when in reality there's another option. And the best course of action is to, like Matt is saying, sit down with someone,
Yeah.
strategize on those what ifs or what you're gonna do next. Because if you have that line of credit in place when everything is good, then you won't have to worry about touching that 401k should something go awry.
Yeah, and your banker is somebody that you know. You've been with that bank for a while. So even though you might not personally know one single banker, you at least know you could go to that bank and
Right.
trust the advisor there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think, you know, trust is a huge thing. I mean, I have a client who they came to us because they were with another IT services company. And the IT services company said, oh, we did A, B, and C, you know, security wise. And then it ends up that they were completely hacked. Their data was hacked. They had ransomware. They had a payout. So they come to us and they're like, we paid these people. I don't think they were doing anything. And I'm like, well, I don't think they were doing anything either. And it was like, okay, what can we do? So we've got to stop the damage. They didn't have backups. I mean, it was just a disaster. So we set them up completely new, and it's building that trust. You know, they came to me because they knew me from somebody else. And I'll tell you this, they initially didn't go. I gave them a proposal and they thought we were too expensive. Though I do this because I'm never, you know, the company is never the most expensive and we're not the cheapest. But they thought we were too expensive, but it's not expensive enough when you're getting hacked and you have all your data stolen and you pretty much have to start from scratch. So it was doing that, but also building the trust as to what we were doing. And so we documented everything for them. This is what we're doing. This is what it looks like. This is where it is. Here are your credentials. It's your data. You can look at it whenever you want. And I think that's an important aspect, you know, is, you know, what we're building on. You know, you have the trust of the advisor of, let me tell you what to do right. And then it's the trust of the same thing in, you know, with business to business. What, you know, I need to trust somebody that they tell me this is the right thing and they're going to actually do it. And it's following up on it. And I think that's just so important. And I'm sure you guys have lots of examples of that.
Yeah, certainly. We deal with customers. The company's been in business over 50 years, right? So as a locksmith company, evolved with the technology over time into the more electronic systems, right? And so we have customers, some of the customers have been with us over 20 years. And so we're trying to build that trust by building a relationship by selling them what they need, not what we want to sell them, and you know, overselling and things like that, and just trying to be that trusted advisor for them. It's like, oh, I'm opening an office in, you know, Savannah or a warehouse in Houston or California. Can you help me with that? So we do, and we advise them and we grow with them along the way, and they help us grow and we grow with them. And it's all about, you know, who do people buy from? They buy from people they know, like, and trust, right? And so we try not to take advantage of that. And it's very important to us.
How do you deal with, especially in security? I know on my side, cybersecurity, but your secure physical security. How do you deal with people who are going like, oh, you're just nickel diming me to death? It's like, you tell me I need this, and then the next day I need this, and then the next day I need this. Because what you were just saying, after 50 years, technology has changed.
No, it changes all the time.
And how do you deal with that, with people just saying, you know, we just want to do this, but you're telling me to be secure, we need to do these additional things too? Is it just education?
Yeah, I mean, we try to explain, you know, the why.
Yeah.
You know, this is why. It's like, well, why do I need a door contact and a motion sensor?
Right.
And we explain to them that, okay, we put a door, we have a primary, secondary, or first and second, because we put a door contact on the overhead door in the warehouse and a motion sensor on the inside. Well, why do I need both? Well, if someone comes with a Sawzall and cuts through the middle of your door to break in, they're not breaking the contact, but once they get in, the motion sensor picks it up.
Right.
You know, if they come through a window and we don't have a glass break sensor because they didn't want a glass break sensor, but we have the motion sensor inside, so they're catching them that way. And so it's really trying to just explain the why we're doing that, and why, based on the experience and other things that we know have happened from people that have told us what happened. So we had a customer that we installed a security system for in North Jersey, and we got a call a month later that they wanted to add these other, you know, sensors to their walls because somebody, you know, sledgehammered their way through the cinder block wall in the back of their warehouse. And so,
That is not the first time I've heard of that, which is really sad.
yes, and they knew about it because the cameras caught it, but the cameras was more of a forensic tool because there was no analytics on the cameras, so they didn't know. So they saw the people drive up and they were there for 4 hours in the middle of the night and they got through. And fortunately, they had nothing inside of their house for them to take. They had bad information.
Yeah.
But they still did it. So we put these vibration sensors, shock sensors on the wall for
Wow.
them. In addition, so this way now, if
I
anything
didn't even
else,
know they had that.
yeah. So we, you never know what's gonna happen. So we try to just educate.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have even thought to say that because it's like, who's gonna take the time to take a sledgehammer? But it happens.
You never know.
But yeah, cut through. So we have, another thing is, if there's windows, we put the glass breaks in the offices because, well, why do we need that? Why don't you just I said, well, what are you keeping in your offices? You have your computers. People get access to your network and they can feel information that way, or if you have valuable. So we've seen where somebody breaks through a window and there's a row of offices, they break through the wall, go through each, and they never go into the
Right. So for the
hallway,
motion detector.
for the motion,
yeah,
pick it up
yeah.
and the glass break picks it
Yeah.
up. So it's just a matter of just educating, the customer.
Nobody
as best
thinks
we
about
can.
how creative these people, these things are.
Yeah. So, like you said, education, I guess, is the most important thing. It's just explaining. Instead of just saying, oh, no, you need this. Well, try to explain why and experience and tell a story and
Yeah.
a true story, obviously, of what, for them.
Yeah.
And kind of go from there. But,
So in solar, I don't have that exciting a story in terms of security, but folks that I talk to, they're pretty worried about financial security, also energy security.
Yeah.
With all
It's
this,
important.
the electricity, there's a boom right now, with the AI centers and energy rates are going up. There's limited amount of power. We're going to be seeing more brownouts in the future. So a lot of people are worried about their personal energy security. And something that when I talk to customers, we usually talk about is the financial security. Solar is also like a product that Marie works with. It's a financial product. It's unlike other assets that you buy. A solar asset actually returns money to you over time. So you don't buy a car today expecting that the car is going to make you money. You spend 20 grand on it in a month, it's depreciated already. But with solar, if you spend 20,000 on solar in 10 years, you would have got back 15,000, and in maybe 20 years, you'll be up $50,000 or $60,000. So it's financial and energy, and with batteries coming in today, that's a new area that people are interested in. So that's overall, security in the solar.
How do you build the trust with those people who are skeptical of a solar?
When I meet with people, they're already switched up. This is a sleazy solar guy, and I'm sure all of you have got phone calls saying, hey, I'm a solar company, I'm from power company, and I've got a free solar going around. So there is a lot of distrust about solar there. Now the sad part is solar is actually an extremely durable and very high investment without all this sound surrounding it and this bad rep that's basically a lot of folks who are looking for big commission paydays when they're selling products. So with me, I lead my own company. I talk to all my customers direct, and what you see is what you get. And I do a lot of education. I have a YouTube channel that I work on where I educate people. So I build trust by explaining what is out there, pitfalls, etc. And when you're honest, people get it. At least in my experience, it's been that people appreciate honesty and straightforwardness. That's how I operate. If you work with John at my solar home, you're going to get what you see. So pretty much, my business is very much referral based. I have people who have referred their daughters, their son-in-laws to do business through me. Works out well for me. But
for me, there's a lot of, especially in the exit planning space, there's a lot of people thinking that their business is worth a certain amount based on what they hear at the country club, right? Oh, my buddy sold his business for this amount. My business is, I'm in the same space and my business is a lot better than his. I can probably get, a few more $1 million for mine. And they go around with that number in their head as what their business is worth. What I try to bring in terms of building trust is actually a process for figuring out, okay, well, what is the number in reality, what's driving that number, and showing them the data. Like, here's what this is based on. This is based on actual transactions. This is based on factors that are specific to your business, your industry. The other thing is asking a lot of thought-provoking questions as I'm trying to learn about a client and about their business. It is very common for me to, pose a question and have that kind of look on the other, on the other side of the table, like,
Yes.
oh, I never thought about that, Matt. That's a really interesting question. And, they go away from those conversations saying, wow, Matt made me think about some things I had not even considered. And so that's a way of, Matt must know what he's talking about, kind of
it's
build
true.
trust. Yeah.
I would agree, and I think that in my area it's probably very similar where there was a time when everybody would go into your local bank, you knew your local banker, they were, certainly part of the community, and now with everything being online, people know their local banker a little less.
Yeah.
And so when they come in, our responsibility, I've always said, is to make sure that if somebody comes into my office, they leave in a better financial position than when they came in.
Yeah.
Whether that's I balance their checkbook or, whether it's major uphaul of their finances. So from one extreme to the other, it doesn't matter as long as, you focus on the person in front of you at the time and you ask those thought-provoking questions that maybe in my 30-something years, I've seen multiple situations and I'm thinking about it, and in their particular lifestyle, they're not thinking of those questions. And so whether they do something with me or someone else, as long as they leave me in a better financial situation than when they came into me, I feel like I've done them justice.
It's good.
Absolutely. It's great advice, about looking for your line of credit when you don't need it.
Yeah.
It's simply, that's one immediate nugget I got off the meeting today itself. That
Yeah. And
I really should be looking at it.
I think that's important. And I think that's what we try to bring to the table with this podcast. And we want to try to bring it as often as we can is I think it's important that it's the trust, but it's also, I'm just going to emphasize, I mean, we do work with, either, like I said, either Mercer County or New Jersey or, the country. But it's important to know those local people that you can trust and even pass on to somebody who's maybe not in the state and say, hey, look, I know maybe Maria's not working in Nebraska, but she could still help guide you. Let's have a conversation about it. Same thing for Alen Security and for solar and for business. It's, the exit strategy of business. I think that's important. I think that's what we want to try to bring to the table for this podcast and for more of these is how do we make sure that how to find somebody, and maybe that'll be our next podcast.
Yeah.
How do you find that trusted advisor? Because everybody can go to Google and say, hey, find me a security company, find me a solar company, but how do we go that next step and find the right trusted advisor? So maybe that's for next time.
Yeah, and hopefully some of you got something out of this, and we'd love to have your comments on our video. Just put them in and help us with topics for our next roundtable.
Yeah, definitely. Subscribe.
Subscribe, yes, subscribe. We got to make a pull for it, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. We want to make it. We want to get better each time. So we need your guys' feedback. So
Yeah, anyone out there we can help any of you. Just let us know any questions you
same
have.
thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take it easy.